All right, everyone, what's up? We are working on old patches today. The 95 YJ Jeep Wrangler, also with the 93 actually motor in it. So 93, 95, it's all the same thing. But today we are putting in new fuel injectors. We're upgrading them also at the same time because if you didn't know, your stock fuel injectors only have one pinhole, one far spray hole, while the upgraded will have 4 spray holes if you decide to go that route. Now we went with some Bosch fuel injectors that were actually just rebuilt because it was a cheaper price, and we don't run this vehicle all the time. I did not realize how pricey fuel injectors actually can be, and because this is just our woods Jeep that gets ran twice a year, we're not too worried about it. And we'll bring extra, spare injectors with us just in case, something happens. But other than that, like, we're gonna risk it for the biscuit. You know how we do it. So first things first, we're going to remove all this out of here, which is pretty easy. You got some little tabs here on the side, blah, blah, blah. Undo your hoses, it'll lift right out. And then you're gonna have a few bolts here. You're gonna unplug this, this will unattach here from your throttle body, and get this bracket and all that out of here, because that's gonna help you pull this rail out. And also, just a note, we'll talk about it more, but this is your fuel pressure regulator right here. Would be a good thing to replace when you're at it if you're willing to spend the money. This is also a pretty pricey item. This will be another $100 depending on where you get it from. Called Napa, they said $100. We also looked at some off-road sites and they looked like they're a little bit cheaper, between 60 and 80 bucks. So either way, it's going to be a little bit more. I can't believe for such a simple thing. But what this does here, it actually helps when you actually put a load on the vehicle, and it helps it deliver the correct amount of fuel to the system, pretty much. To get to why we are replacing our fuel injectors today, and possibly that fuel pressure regulator, is because when we start the vehicle up, runs fine, has a little bit of stumble on it, but past that, it starts to idle fine. Past that, when we go to take off in the vehicle, it seems to want to hesitate between 1,000 and 2,000 RPMs. Once you wind her out, it seems like she's pretty happy, but it seems like on that bottom end, she's really complaining, and that actually points maybe more to your fuel pressure regulator. But because we're already here, this motor here has over 200,000 miles on it. Well, so does the vehicle, but regardless, they both have over 200,000 miles on it. That's a lot of miles, and you got 30 years. Like, that's a lot of time and miles on a fuel injector, and it's just time to replace it. So we found her some rebuilt ones off of eBay for $100, and I will make sure I tag the guy in it if they work good. So we're gonna give them a nice test for the weekend in Kentucky, ripping this thing around. Hopefully they do us good and all that. But right now we gotta get this stuff installed, make sure this thing just even fires up for us. So we're gonna get at it. All right. All right, guys, so you can see we got our bracket out of our way, and we left that clipped in. Some said that you have to unclip it, but I don't think we're gonna have to. And when you take that bracket off, one of them is gonna be your hold down for your fuel reel. You'll have another nut over here. Just go ahead and take that off. Next step will be unplugging your fuel lines here. Could be a little bit pressure, so don't be putting your eyeballs right next to that sucker. Make sure you kind of lean away a little bit when you're pulling them off. Make sure the engine is cooled down, not hot. And yeah, I'll pull that off, be a little bit fuel spray, maybe. We'll see what happens. And oh, so it's just a simple tab. So let's see. Not a big deal. That one came off nice. Just a little dribble of fuel. All right, so that came off, no problem. Cool, cool, cool. And like I said, that's undone. So the next thing you do is you want to just unplug your actual fuel injectors here, and just, it really can go only one way, but make sure that they are kind of within the vicinity of how they'll plug back in. Don't get too crazy. Then after that, she should pull right out. We do have this line running kind of in the way, but we should be able to loop that around. Yeah, that's no problem. So that should go, actually. All right, so looking a little bit closer now, couldn't tell with all the crud on here, but it looks like there's another nut on here. So it looks like we're gonna have to undo that because she's definitely still pretty tight on there. So probably got 2 more nuts, it looks like. So we're gonna see what sizes are. Everything so far has been 10 mil. And so we're gonna bump up maybe to a, what do you guys think? 12 mil? 13? Check it out. All right, so remove those, and this is what they look like right here. It was actually like a stud. There you go. And after you start pulling those out, you can feel the fuel rail feels a lot looser. So should come right out. Might have to use two hands, we'll see. So here's the clips that we're talking about. Maybe it'll just be easier to pull each injector out by itself than trying to pull all four out at a time. Let's do a little persuasion here. Yep, a little fuel leak. All right, so you can see two of them pulled out. A lot of crud on there. Well, you'll have that when they haven't been changed in 30 years. All right, so now we're just gonna try to clean this up as best as we can without trying to compact too much of it in. So we'll probably get like a pick, kind of work at it a little bit. And then make sure there's no O-rings stuck in there. Make sure all your O-rings came out with your injectors. And then we're going to start installing the new ones. All right. All right, so we're going to installing our injectors. Try to have clean hands. And if you guys don't use these, I'm telling you, white balls, get them off Amazon for a great price. You buy them off bulk, it's even better. These are actually, I like Simple Green. But regardless, let's get our hands a little bit clean here. We got our rebuilt fuel injectors here. You're gonna see that you have a couple different options and housings here as far as what the body of the fuel injector looks like. These ones here, I guess, are supposed to be the best as far as performance and keeping the injector nice and cool. I truly didn't care too much about that, but the guy kind of sold us on them instead of these big body ones here. But we did say, I didn't personally know if can we not use, did we have to use a clip? I don't know, but he said, hey, we get you these ones here that you can still use the clip on, you know, no problem. I said, all right, let's do it. Same price and everything. So make sure when you're doing this, you kind of clean these out just a little bit. Get yourself a little cup of fuel, wherever you get it from, whether it's your gas can or you drained it actually out of this. You know, you'll have a little leftover fuel if you catch it in time. Just pour it into a cup. That way you can wet the new injectors before sticking them in. And yeah, we're gonna get at it. It should be pretty simple. Another thing too, when you're putting these in, make sure that this is facing in the correct direction that you're gonna be as far as plugging them in. So we're gonna definitely want them just like that. So we're gonna get at it. So we'll wet this with fuel just a little bit. Big deal. Kind of stick our finger in there like that. And then just give it a nice push in. Be nice. You don't want to mess up that O-ring at all. Boom. Plugs right in. Feels good. Then you should be able to put this clip in also, which will be bottom side like that. That's what it's going to look like. Like a glove. Like it was supposed to be, man. That's awesome. I tell you, that is nice when things like that come together. And what's nice is they have oh man, I don't think I don't know. I do believe you're going to take this little plastic ring off here because that's probably just meant, I would assume, to protect the injector. I don't think you'd want that plastic on that hot motor like that. I think that would be no bueno. Kind of wish that was stated a little bit clearer, but yeah. So we're going to take those off because I'm pretty sure those aren't supposed to be on there. That wouldn't make much sense. And we're going to get at it. So we're on to our next one. And I'm probably being even a little excessive with the fuel amount here, but hey. Again, plugged right in, felt nice. Something's gonna go wrong. It's going too nice. All right, cool. All right, guys, we're going to finish our last two injectors here, and then we're gonna get this thing installed. All right, so we got our fuel injectors here, and pretty much it's gonna be just push them in, and then put those studs back in. But we're gonna wet these injectors just a little bit. All right, so that's a little bit better now. They're wet now that we've cleaned them. We're gonna just put a little bit more dazzle in here, but should be good to go. Make sure your wires are out of your way. This should go in. Yeah, you see, yep, see they just clicked in really nice. Perfect. Now we just got to put our studs on. Make sure you don't over tighten on these at all, just because you are going into aluminum. And make sure you are threaded in there correctly. Because if you strip that out, then this will turn this easy job into a not such a great job. I feel like they're in there pretty tight, but we ain't gonna go crazy. So how I like to tighten stuff is usually I'll grab it kind of more by the head. You don't want to grab at the end of the handle because it gives you a lot more opportunity to strip that out. If you're trying to keep it low on torque, just feel it nice and snug. Just leave it at that. Don't go for that extra grab. And then we're going to put our wires back on. Make sure that these plug in. Should have checked that at the beginning, but here we are doing it now. And feels like sure do swivel a lot. I hope that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, then we'll plug this in. All right. Make sure that you're. We might as well plug this in too. Plug your vacuum lines back in that you probably pulled out to kind of resituate. And oh, I forgot, they do say you should disconnect your battery and reconnect it to help learn these new fuel injectors. But I think we're just gonna wing it. We didn't hook up our throttle body yet, but that's okay because it's on a spring, so it's gonna stay closed, so it's not like it's gonna run free. But I want to kind of hear and make sure we don't have any leaks. So we're gonna just turn the key on first and see what happens. For some reason, when we did our video, guys, we had no audio. So when I went to go edit everything, we had no audio so you guys could hear this thing run. But we tested it, had no fuel leaks and all that. And yep, that is a hood stack on a 2.5 YJ. But we're gonna give you guys a little fire up. It did not solve our issue. I'm gonna show you guys what our issue is. But yeah. So you're gonna hear it run, and it runs a little bit and then it gets super rich, I believe, and you're gonna hear it kind of stumble. Don't mind that little belt. You can see it's a little bit of a moisture day. Whenever there's a little moisture, that belt squeaks a little bit. So here's where it gets a little unhappy. And sometimes she does stall out, but she'll start right back up. rev it, the rev's really clean. So we're gonna replace our fuel pressure regulator next, which we might do a video on, and that'll be our next upgrade for sure. All right, but that's our video on installing the new upgraded fuel injectors on your Jeep Wrangler with the 2.5. I hope this video helped you guys out, and I mean, they definitely run crisp and all. I can't wait to take it on the trails and do some real testing on this thing, going down to Kentucky. So make sure you follow on all that so you can see us off-roading this Jeep, having a good time. We also do a bunch of pit biking and a lot of other cool stuff, and we're always doing reviews on the new stuff that we purchase and just, you know, testing it out. But that's it for today's video, guys, and we'll see you later.